and it's my great pleasure to invite our first keynote, Almudena Rodriguez-Pardo, who I know is a very experienced speaker and is really going to entertain you and perhaps hopefully teach you a lot about DevOps and the important part, the people that are associated with DevOps, where automation begins. So please, Almudena.
Power. Bonjour. That was for my French. But I gave it a try. Really delighted to be here. Thank you very much, my friend UK. And I have the honor to be opening the conference. That's really excellent. Now let's see if this works. Yes, yes. Shortly presentation of my person. I am a business agility consultant, producing agility in big organizations. But I have a strong technological background. I was 20 years working for Ericsson in Germany. Mainly as a developer, was part of Scrum teams, and also in the project management office I've been working as a quality manager and market support introduction of our nodes, and also as an agile coach, so I had different roles. And I'm an international speaker. I do spend quite a lot of conferences, seeing what's happening out in the world, what are the people doing about DevOps, what's happening with agility. Most of the new coming out is in conferences, where we really find the way forward. So it's really interesting and nice to be here with you and have interaction with you. I already learned a lot this morning with the tutorials. Thank you very much. I have some certifications in Scale and Framework, Management 3.0, Scrum Master, and also PMI, CP, all these bunch of certifications you require to be a consultant. Now my company supports all sorts of customers in many different sectors. Of course I come from telecommunications, but we work with a wide variety of companies in the retail industry, banks, insurances, so we have a wide variety of sectors we work with. Those are our services, what I normally do when I work with a conference, a trainer, do awareness talks like this one here, and I'm licensed trainer for IAM management courses, and I'm also licensed trainer for a Scale Agile framework, bringing the company to an agile organization. That was me. Now we go to the real subject, that is DevOps. Let's start with the most important question. What the heck is DevOps? You cannot fail. Whatever definition you give, you cannot fail. I think there are 250 definitions, and everybody says they are right. So the one I like is this one. That's the one version one the tool has published, and it's my personal one, but please choose whatever you like, because you cannot do anything wrong. Everybody is defining DevOps, and some companies are defining the internal definition of DevOps of the company to make things a bit more complicated. So my personally point that is a practice. I would even take the word practice away. I would say it's a mindset. DevOps is a way of thinking. You do need some tooling for sure. Communication, collaboration, integration. That is something. Oops. I already waited my career at the UCAAT. Behaving. Now, 22 years ago, Scrum was invented. It is 1995 for the first time it was published something about Scrum. Great job, great framework. And it defines the product owner, very important person. Scrum Master, also very important person. By the way, both names are terrible. There is no product owner, there is no Scrum Master. So we have realized these names are not the right ones, but now we cannot change them anymore. And we have the development team. I was part of one for many years. Developers and testers and great things. So Scrum is a great thing. And this, Stefan, this morning I really liked your talk when you were presenting. We have the Scrum teams, and now what happens with the operator? Scrum does not foresee that we have to deploy or integrate anything. Supposedly you do something and it gets out of the door. I think I have 2 companies I know they do this. That is not reality. So what we have done is an agilization of waterfall, beautifully described this morning by Stefan. He had another picture, but we have created impressive, fantastic, self-organized teams doing great things in the middle of the process. And as soon as they're finished, things take as long as ever. And after many years doing Scrum and realizing we had agilized the middle of the process, the other part is the agile product management. It doesn't look better than DevOps, but that's not the right conference here. So let's look the way down. Here we realize we had a problem. It's a long way to the customer. And in some sectors, like the telecommunications, it's a very long way to the customer. So what it's about is that we get, at the end of its iteration, yes, some working code, but we also need the environment. Scrum and Agility did not define it. Scale framework, very discussed setup and practice. I'm not selling it, please, but it's something I personally implement in some companies. That's very strongly based on DevOps. It has strongly introduced all the DevOps factors, DevOps culture, continuous everything. And now we come to the part of the continuous. Continuous, of course, a big hassle in some industries. The very beginning of the line of the continuous is quite clear to most of them. But when we get to delivery, deployment, and release, things get really complicated. Some of the companies delivering right into the customer, but most of the customers don't want it. So they rather have release on demand. So we try to do a continuous delivery pipeline and have the things off the shelf so whenever the customer wants to have it. Of course, if you own your own product, like the companies which have a digital product, they have their own web page, then you can do continuous release. Because it's your product. You're not bringing it to the customer. What is important, I will see it later, is all the levels of co-creation we have. We need this feedback. Whatever happens, in continuous release or in deployment, we need the feedback for the continuous improvement. Continuous improvement is unfortunately not described here, but it's the basis. All we're trying to do by continuous delivery and deployment is to improve. So for example, here is the press release from last year from Ericsson, and they had gone down to monthly updates from the packet core software instead of 6 or 12 months. I mean, in the fundamentalist world of agility, somebody will say, that's not agile, that's not automated. But that's already very good. That's really an excellent result. The question is, do we keep improving it? Are we heading for every 2 weeks? So it's not about going straight away for a continuous delivery, it's about going step for step in that direction with the right mentality or mindset and with the right tools. Now Ericsson is going one step forward. It's talking about continuous everything. I mean, now that we have virtualization has changed the game of DevOps. We used to have this one server where we were developing, and then we took the code to the server of the operations, which they happened not to be alike. For some reason, some configuration was different than one or the other, and there came the big problem. The code is failing. Well, it's your fault. In our environment, it was working. This tiny little blame problem we had for many years. Some people are smiling, never happened to you, no? So, by using virtualization, having replications of virtual machines for everybody, developers and operations, we have solved some problems. But still, continuous everything is quite a step. So what do we need? Automation. Thank you very much to Stefan for this number this morning. I was myself surprised. 80% is manual. My goodness, it's still a lot. I still go to companies where say, Mrs. Rodriguez, we want to do DevOps, great, but we have no budget for automation. So, sorry, miracles are not possible, even for consultants. So if you don't put money into tools, there's no way you're going to automate, and automation is a basic part of DevOps. Now, when we talk about tools, yeah, as many as you want. I'm sure I'm missing some of them. Please, somebody don't be hurt. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Probably some missing. But it's not lack of tools the problem, I would say. And there are some orchestration tools which help you to put some of them together. So that shouldn't be the problem by now. And many companies are really looking into tools and calling and asking which tools I apply if I want to be DevOps. Say, well, take a choice. But there is something important, and that's what I wanted to talk about. Where are the people? And that's what Elon Musk said. We forgot the people. We're talking about automation. You might have several scenarios where the people play a huge role. If you have for a provider, for example, in the world of the telecommunications sector, you have a provider who does operations service, who goes to the customer and brings the software, makes a release on the lab or live. There is a human factor in it. Alistair Cockburn talks about manual delivery. I say, Almudena, we're talking about automation. What are you talking about the manual delivery? Because even if you automatically bring the code to the customer, it's good if you personally go and sit beside him and watch him. That is the basic now from design thinking, empathy. Watch him how he's using it. Sit together with him, listen personally to his problems. So even if we are heading for automatization and release, sitting together with the customer and talking to him is not a mistake. So for a delivery of a telecommunication network, a provider might go personally to the operator's lab and live. I've seen even network telecommunication operators who requested one person, one concrete person. They only wanted this one guy to come because they personally like him and trust him. He wanted to have that one. You might also have new features which are not released, but you want to try them at the operators. And you don't want to do that automatically. Even if a feature is not released, maybe you have the situation due to the multi-vendor environments the telecommunications operator had that you want to see how it interacts with the other nodes. Once upon a time, telecommunication operators had, for example, the complete network from the same provider, all network personalities. Now you have the different nodes from the different providers, and we all follow the standards. But sometimes bad things happen. So it's sometimes good if some people from integration and verification try new features at the customer and see how they are reacting with the multi-vendor environment. Upgrade of the node is again another issue, which can be run by anybody and should be as automated as possible. But maybe the different customers have different configurations. And I've even seen the situation that the developer went personally to a first office application to customer because there was some software adaptation which was desired on side of the customer due to some data migration. So we had developers traveling for deployment of a release. So it's all these human factors we cannot leave out. What are the wishes of our customer? How can we get them 100% satisfied? And only automation will do it. What all this personal contact brings back to the company is a lot of feedback. The higher you are, the higher is the feedback you get. I was listening to this one developer who went to the operator for the software modification. He afterwards called to talk to the company, and it was really fascinating to hear everything he had been through and everything he had seen. So we see different sorts of ops. We see ops and ops and ops, and we have to secure that it doesn't look like this. What do we have to do? Here come some hints, some ideas how we can move on. Break the silos. Break the silos. Make sure people work cross-functional. Make sure they sit together. Make sure they do something completely revolutionary, that they talk to each other. Retro communication, face-to-face. But make sure the silos are broken and people are working cross-functional. This way we get common goals. And I knew a company where the development department had the goals and the KPI related to having as less travel reports as possible, high quality code. But in the same company, the testing department had the KPI to find as many faults as possible. Both KPIs were tied to a bonus. Can you imagine what it was like? The coordination between the developers and testers, trouble reports flying back and forth, being rejected. And suddenly the department managers did something new, they talked to each other. So secure that everybody has a common goal. Development and operations both want to bring best quality and high satisfaction to the customer. We have had for many years already cross-functional teams, famous Scrum teams. I was part of it. I already mentioned I'm a developer. Actually, until the point where I joined a Scrum team, I didn't like testers. I don't know what I'm doing at this conference. But I didn't like testers, because there was the guys in the other building bothering us with trouble reports. Not my beautiful code, for God's sake. And we started working together, face to face, sitting together around the table. And then you didn't need any trouble report anymore. So we head up, code is failing. Oh, really? Let me see. Now, we want to expand this. We want to get the ops guy on board. Get the guys from operation, also the cross-functionality of your teams. Secure him. He joins the party. If you do a barbecue, secure he's on board. By working on the cross-functionality, it is very important that everybody familiar with the T-shaped concept? Somebody who knows it, maybe hands up, so I know how much I have to tell about this. I see small hand. Guys, move, come. I know you're just 8. Who knows the T-shape? Okay, thank you. T-shape is about cross-functionality skills for one person. That means my skills are deep now into agility, DevOps, Scrum, Scala framework. That is where I'm a specialist. But I have my team. On the one hand, after so many years doing development, if you put me down a Scrum team, I could do some code. C++, Java, Python, I could do some code. So it will work. And I can do some testing. Yeah? It's very short arm. I would say I'm a junior tester. I cannot recommend you hire me. But I can do some simple tests, UCAAT, I can run Jenkins, and I could support an experienced tester with some smaller things so he can concentrate on the bigger ones. And that is what we were able to reach through Scrum teams. And this way I will strongly recommend secure that the ops people join this cross-functionality, that they get more information on development, that the development people are aware of ops, that they travel to the operations, that they see how deployment is being done. There's this one company, Rebe Digital in Cologne, uses the community of practices to expand the knowledge. They have a community of practice in Jenkins, which is oriented to the developers, not to the testers. They do small talks or even small experiments in testing, but oriented to the developers, simple things, so that people can expand the knowledge. So secure the T-shape of both devs and ops, that everybody gets involved in both areas. This also helps if somebody suddenly leaves the company, and at least you have the knowledge there. The goal is to have our teams up here. This is out of Spotify. You want your teams to have high autonomy, to have all the skills they need, to have the maturity to take decisions, and you want them aligned to have a common goal, not the developers one and the operation people a second goal. Everybody has the same goal. Maximum satisfaction of our customers through our quality and early delivery. There's no other goal. Now, once you have these teams, then let them go. Maybe the operations will be done by somebody else every time you release. Everything we're talking about, as I mentioned, is a mindset. Everything we're talking about implies a cultural change. Don't try to change first the culture. Change the structure and then try to make secure the culture moves along. Peter Drucker said, Culture is a strategy for breakfast. In the agility, we say culture is everything for breakfast. So the culture is probably the biggest problem we're facing when it's about changing things. So keep this in mind. I really like this iceberg from Tom and Rick, because it tells you, like in a company you have the procedures, the policies, the goals. But if you really go deep inside, you have the non-written rules, the beliefs, the things that people are afraid of, things which are not expressed that everybody knows, the feelings. And that is, you really have to go very deep in the iceberg if you want to have a DevOps culture. I finished my talk with probably the best Twitter I ever had in my life. This is from Jeff Sample. He's the guy who wrote the DevOps handbook, or one of the guys who wrote it, there were several ones. And it's really, think of the role you most dislike, and invite this person for lunch, and listen to this person talk. And when he says, surely fixes most of the problems, he's absolutely right. Because one thing is real, what I face in any company I join. Whatever problem you're trying to solve, behind a technical problem, there is always a human problem. So please, when you go back to work on Monday, make sure that the devs people and ops people go together for lunch. Thank you very much. You can reach me in a wide variety of possibilities, technological and not technological. You can use the Ziplo tool, or you can use retro communication face-to-face in the coffee corner, or any electronic contact. And gracias, encantada. Any questions in Spanish, German, and English? Welcome. The French ones, I think I need a beer. Thank you very much.